Om Sahanavatu, Sahanao Bhunaktu, Sahaviryam Karavavahai, Tejasvinavadhetamastu, Mavidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shruti Smriti Purananam, Alayam Karunalayam, Namami Bhagavat Pada, Shankaram Loka Shankaram, Shankaram Shankaracharyam, Keshavam Badarayanam, Sutra Bhashakrita Vande, Bhagavanta Punah Punah. If consciousness is the truth, then you are the truth, Ji. Because there is no, in the world, the only conscious being is Jiva. Jiva, when he takes himself to be the form, he continues to be conscious, even when he takes to be a form. When he takes to be a form, then he is a Jivatma. When he understands, by nature, he is Paramatma. Even when he doesn't understand, doesn't matter. By nature, there is a difference between by misconception and by nature. This is the contrast. Don't say right knowledge, wrong knowledge. By taking it through misconception, it is a jiva. By nature, it is Paramatma. It is Brahman. And to that, and therefore, consciousness, if it is the truth, then you are the truth. Every jiva is the truth. Consciousness doesn't change. You don't cease to be conscious just because a thought arises, a waking arises, a dream arises, or sleep arises. You don't cease to be conscious. You may cease to see an object. You may conscious of the absence of objects, but you can't be a non-conscious place. And therefore, even before the birth, you were never unconscious. You were conscious of the absence of this world, of this embodiment before the birth. And after the death, again, you are conscious of the absence of this body, absence of this embodiment. Chaitanyam Sarvagam. So we are doing the Upadesha Sahasri, second Padya Bhaga. We have just started. Chaitanyam, consciousness. Sarvagam, it is present everywhere. Sarvagam doesn't mean it has gone everywhere. Sarvatra gacchati iti sarvam sarvatra gatam iti sarvagam iti. Even though they say that is the Vyutpatti, that is the etymology, but then it doesn't mean it has gone everywhere. It is present everywhere. The infinite is not gone somewhere. The infinite is present everywhere. The space itself is embedded in the truth. The truth is Sarvagam. Sarvam, and everything is non-separate from it. And therefore it is everything also. Truth is everything. It is Sarvagam and it is Sarvam also. Sarva Bhuta Guhashayam. And it is present in the thought of everything, unqualified by the thought. Sarva Bhuta Guhashayam. Guha should be taken as only thought. There is nothing else that is evident. The unmanifest can be Guha. The unmanifest thought is also, unmanifestation also is a thought. Perception also, the presence, seeing the presence of the object is a thought. That is also Guha. Why it is called Guha? Because it Guhayati, Guhayati. It as though eclipses the truth. When you think that you are indeed the thinker, the thought, then it thought as though eclipses. Sarva Bhuta Guhashayam. It is present in every conscious being, in every jiva as himself. Yet Sarva Vishayatitam. And it is unobjectifiable. Sarva Vishaya Atitam. It is something that is unobjectifiable by any Vishaya. It is not accessible to any Vishaya. It is not accessible to form because it's not a form. Form can have access to another form. Sound can have access to another sound. Taste can have access to another taste. Touch can have access to another touch. Smell can have an access to another smell. But form cannot have access to the sound. Sound cannot have access to the form. And therefore, I am neither a form, nor a sound, nor a taste, nor touch, nor smell. And therefore, none of them can have any access to me. That is why he said in the previous, towards the end of the Gadya Bhaga, it is said You always practice this. You always do which reflect like this. That if anybody says something, that sound, his sound is always, what he says is in the form of the sounds, the words. They cannot reach me. The form cannot reach me. The taste cannot reach me. The touch cannot reach me. The smell cannot reach me. And therefore, why should I react? I'm inaccessible to. I'm not a form, and therefore form cannot have access to me. I'm not a sound, therefore sound cannot have access to me. I'm not a taste, and therefore I'm not an object of taste, and therefore taste cannot have access to me. Touch cannot have access to me. Smell cannot have access to me, and likes and dislikes also cannot have access to me. Likes and dislikes, even though they are there, they are also connected to the objects. It is the object that is liked. It is the object that is disliked. It is a particular. It is objectifiable, that is liked and disliked, and therefore the likes and dislikes also cannot have any access to me because I am not an object. And therefore, Tasmai Sarva Vide Nama, unto him, unto that truth, unto that consciousness, here is my salutation. He is Sarva Vide. Sarva Vid means he is omniscient. He is all knowing because everything is made of it, and therefore that makes him Sarvavit. It's not that really he has a fund of information. That is not the truth. That is how we think. He must be knowing a lot. That is not the truth, Ji. Everything is made of. You may not know French, but that doesn't mean the French language also is a sound, and that is made of the truth, the silence. And you go to heaven. Heaven is very, very attractive forms. But then those forms are also made of the same formless truth. The forms are made of the formless, form-free truth. Sound is made of the sound-free truth. The taste is made from the taste-free truth. Touch is made from the touch-free truth. And smell is made from the smell-free truth. And therefore, the likes and dislikes are made of, the thought is made of from the thought-free truth, thought-free consciousness. And to that truth. That everything is made of the truth is the sarva, makes him sarvavit, please. Sarvavit does not mean he has got all the information. He is the truth of everything. There is a big difference between collecting all the information. To have when you have information, it says I have information. You know, never say I am information. Similarly, the truth also cannot be. Cannot say. Jiva can say I can have information. Paramatma is only one without a second, and therefore the entire information is it. It cannot say I have information, and unless you collect information, you can't say I have information. And therefore the truth is information. The truth is the universe, and therefore don't think that truth is sarvavit means it knows French, it knows Eskimo language, it knows Indian languages, etc. I say all languages are made of this same sound, and that sound is made of the same truth. In that manner, we have to understand, rather than think that he has a lot of information. And to that consciousness, here is my salutation. And therefore now, the Veda, completes all the Veda. Not only makes you perform actions, but it understands that actions are limited. Actions create results, and everything that is created result is material in nature. And therefore, all actions are material in nature, and their results are also material in nature. And therefore, the karma only creates the results. The Veda also understands karma is not the answer because the result is not the answer. The result is something that is temporary, that is non-eternal. Man is not interested in the non-eternal pleasures. He is interested in the eternal, in the eternal fullness of his being. He is not interested in a small pleasure. He is interested in the fullness of his being. Like in the deep sleep state, you can't enter it where the desire is not possible. Where the desire is not possible, there is no potentiality of the desire. And therefore, in the deep sleep state, you are free from all the desires. And that is because you are full. And therefore, the fullness is nothing but freedom from the limitation, freedom from the confinement to the body, and therefore freedom from the confinement to the body makes you full. You don't have to become full; you are already full. You have to unbecome the limitation, the confinement, and therefore, Dara, the Veda not only completes it completes the topic of marriage, family life. It completes the topic of the rituals. Agni Adhaya. Agni Adhaya means rituals, means the how to lit up the fire and how to put the fire and how to perform a ritual. And these topics he has completed. The Veda completes. Samapaya क्रियाः सर्वाः दाराग्नि आधानपूर्विकाः ब्रह्मविद्यामथ यथानिम्. And now it talks about the Brahma Vidya. Why does it talk about Brahma Vidya? Because it knows that marriage itself is not the answer. Becoming a grihastha is not the answer. Ashrama Vishesha is not the answer. And therefore, just because you become a sannyasi, that's not the answer. You take sannyasa, that's not the answer. Grihastha ashrama is not the answer. Vanaprastha ashrama is not the answer. Brahmacharya ashrama is not the answer. Even though they are all useful, but the ashrama is useful, but it's not the answer. Nothing is the answer except Brahma Vidya, understanding yourself correctly, that you are not Deha. Deha is something that is different. Deha is an upadhi, whereas Dehi, you are Dehi, you are not Deha. You are Dehi. You think that you are Deha, and therefore you are Dehi. Dehi nityam avadjoyam. Dehe sarvasya bharata, Bhagavan says. Brahma Vidyamatha idanim vaktum vedaha prachakrame. Veda does the beginning of the Brahma Vidya. Prachakrame means प्रारंभ किया जाता है, प्रारब्धे. What does it, how does it begin? It begins that Brahma Vidya is, alone is the answer. Neither marriage is the answer, neither Jaya is the answer, nor the children are the answer, nor the rituals are the answer. Nothing is the answer. No mobility is the answer. No kriya, no karma is the answer. You don't have to complete karma kanda. You don't have to study the entire karma kanda. Understanding that the karma only creates a limited result, that is enough for a jignasu. You don't have to go through the entire karma kanda. The karma has to be understood, please. The karma is mobility can only create a limited result, a material result. And that limited result is a material result. And that's not the answer. The limited is not the answer to the unlimited. The unlimited thinks that I am limited. I told you, it's not what he does, it's not what he creates that is the answer. What he does is not the problem. His view of himself is the problem. His right view is the answer. His wrong view is the problem. His wrong view. His view is the problem. His correction of the wrong view is the answer. And therefore, that is what he has to understand. He doesn't have to follow the entire karma kanda. You don't have to go through all the rituals. You have to understand a ritual creates only a limited result. Even if you go to heaven, that is a temporary stay. क्षीणे पुण्य मर्त्यलोकम विशंति. हमारा गुरु जी used to say patanti. Therefore, you don't have to go through the entire karma kanda. You have to understand every karma has a limitation. Karmani deha yogartham. Deha yoga priya priya. Karmani, all actions. Karma is only karmani. Karmani means actions. Good actions, bad actions create only a kind of yoga. Deha yogartham. Deha yogartham means for embodiment. Deha yogartham. All the kind of embodiment that you have, that is determined by the quality of your karma, and that you have embodiment is due to avidya. Avidya is general. Avidya determines that you have embodiment and the quality of embodiment, where you are born, in which family you are born, to which parents you are born, and that is determined by our karma. And therefore, in which family you are born, karma and deha yoga artham. Once the deha yoga takes place, once the embodiment takes place, priya, then you start liking, and priya and apriya, there are pleasure and pain. And you always go for pleasure and pain are there. Dhruvasyatam, they're definite, they have to happen. There are pleasant and unpleasant things. Embodiment leads to pleasant and unpleasant things. Dhruvesyatam, tato ragadveshashchaiva tatah kriya. And as a result of pleasant and unpleasant, the pleasant you like raga, and the unpleasant you have dvesha. Raga dveshas are choiceless. Once the actions, until you know the truth, actions are choiceless. Actions create embodiment, choiceless. Given a kind of embodiment, choiceless. And embodiment leads to the pleasant and the unpleasant things, choiceless. Choicelessly, they have inevitably. Let me use the word inevitably. Inevitably, and the priya and apriya inevitably lead to likes and dislikes. And likes and dislikes create again actions. Tataha kriyaha, then again actions. You could do. Dhruve syatam, tato ragaha dveshashchaiva, tatah kriyaha. Dharma. And then when you perform an action, then you get punya and papa. Adrishtam. Drishtam creates adrishtam. What you create, what you do is drishtam, and the result is adrishtam. Dharma and adharma. Dharma means punya, adharma is papa. Dharma. Tataha agnyasya deha yoga. And as a result of punya and papa, you again come back to embodiment. You leave the previous embodiment and go to the new embodiment. And the new embodiment. But Swamiji, how do we know? We don't remember. So what? You don't remember the waking state in the dream. So what? Memory doesn't determine continuity, please. Memory itself is your knowledge. You are Swatah Pramana. You are indeed Swayam Jyoti. You are indeed Swatah Siddha Pramana. You are the Pramana. You're not your memory is the Pramana. You determine your nature. Your memory doesn't determine. In the dream, you don't remember the waking. You come to the class and you fall asleep. But then you don't remain in the class. You are wandering somewhere in the hills. And in the class, but then you don't remember that you had come to the class. You don't remember. In the deep sleep state, you don't remember the waking and the dream. But yet, you are there. And therefore, the memory doesn't establish continuity, please. But you are there. In all the three states, you are there. Not on the basis of memory, please. Your continuity is not on the basis of your memory. Your continuity is on the basis of your existence. Your existence is always there, continuity. It is that continuity that leads to memory also. Your continuity gives rise to memory, pratyabhijna. Not pratyabhijna makes you infer the continuity of the truth. Your being eternal creates pratyabhijna, and therefore it gives memory. And therefore, memory doesn't establish the continuity. It is the continuity that brings about the memory. It is the eternity that brings about the memory. And therefore, dharmo, tataha agnyasya deha yoga. As a result of, first there is karma, and karma leads to embodiment. Embodiment leads to priya and apriya, and priya and apriya leads to ragadvesha. Ragadvesha lead to karma, and karmas lead to again tatah kriyaha, the actions you do, and the actions you do good and bad, and they create punya and punya and papa again bring about deha yoga, embodiment. Tatha punha, again and again there is embodiment. First, previous embodiment is gone, then the latest embodiment has come. Embodiment cannot be, you cannot really remove you cannot negate you can't negate the ragadvesha kriyas without negating the ajnana. And therefore, evam nitya pravrittoyam. In this manner, The embodiment is nitya pravrittaha. Nitya pravritta means it's always there. Embodiment continues. Sansara chakravat. Sansaraha. This sansara continues. Embodiment continues. If embodiment continues, sansara continues. Sansaraha. Chakravat, like a merry-go-round. Chakravat, Brisham. Brisham means always, unnecessarily, avoidably. It continues. Even though it is avoidable, it's not avoided. Brisham means it's too much. Brisham, it's again and again. The embodiment continues. Samsara continues, and samsara continues. First there is embodiment, and embodiment leads to, first there are kriyas, and kriyas lead to embodiment. Embodiment leads to priya and priya, and priya and apriya leads to ragadvesha. Ragadvesha leads to kriyas, and kriyas lead to dharma and adharma, punya papa, and punya papa lead to re-embodiment, and re-embodiment leads to another re-embodiment. In this manner, samsara continues. Chakravat, like a wheel. Brisham means too much, forever, always. Brisham means too much also. Brisham also means Brisham Vadinaha. Brisham Vadinaha means these Purva Pakshis, they talk too much. That Brisham means too much should be taken. Too much. They talk too much unnecessarily. They talk too much. Similarly here, samsara continues too much. Samsara is always there. Samsara is always there, continues always. And therefore karma is not the answer, not the phalam is the answer, nor raga dveshas are the answer, nor attending to listening to the raga dveshas is the answer. Based upon raga dveshas, doing karma is not the answer. Evam nitya pravritta, samsara continues. And you have to understand, the immediate reason for embodiment is the quality of karma. The quality of karma determines the quality of embodiment. But the avidya determines the embodiment. And therefore, within avidya is karma also. The law of karma is not very fundamental. The law of karma also is within avidya, please, within adhyasa. Within avidya, the law of karma is there. And you cannot remove the karma through karma, please. Understand? Karma cannot negate the karma. Karma is not the answer for karma. Vidya is the answer. Negating the adhyasa is the answer for karma. Doing the right karma gives you right result, all right. It's not the answer to the karma. Karma cannot be the answer to karma. And therefore, samsaras chakravat brisham. Ajnanam tasya moolam. And this for the karma, the moolam is ajnanam. Ajnanam is ignorance, non-understanding of oneself. If non-understanding of oneself is in nothing but non-understanding of oneself as solely awareness, as free from embodiment. Your existence is different from your deha. Your existence is different from your mind, your thoughts. Your existence is different from your views. Despite your view that you are deha, you are not deha, please. Despite your deha, and you don't become deha. You only view yourself as a deha. It's only viewed. It is only, you find yourself viewing yourself as a deha, and you take it for granted you are deha. It is also, even when you take it for granted involuntarily, it continues to be voluntarily. It is correctable. Involuntarily, it looks to be the problem is there involuntarily, and then the problem can be rectified through voluntary deliberation. Vidya is through deliberation. Avidya is there swabhavikam. Avidya is swabhavikam. Swabhavikam means involuntarily it is there. You find yourself as deha. But then understanding that you are not deha, understanding you are not deha is the answer to the entire karma. Ajnanam tasya moolam. Understanding tasya moolam means ignorance, non-understanding of yourself is the root of the entire karma, the entire samsara. Syaditi tad hanam ishyate. And what is desirable? Tad hanam, its negation. Ishyate is desirable. Ajnana Shanam, the negation of ignorance is desirable. Ishyate is desirable. Ishyate means is desirable. Tadhanam means tadhanam, it is there. Tat hanam, tasya hanam. Tasya hanam ishyate is desirable. Its negation is desirable. Its correction is desirable. You can't negate ignorance except misconception cannot be negated. It can only be corrected. The correction is called negation, please. That it's not so. That you have to follow, you have to cherish that word correction. The error needs to be corrected. The error, if I feel that I am Deha, and if I understand that I am not Deha, that is a correction, please. That is called correction. And only through correction you can negate the avidya, misconception. Misconception is gone through correction. And therefore Brahma Vidya, the understanding that I am Brahman, the Atma is Brahman, Ataha, therefore, Arabdha. Arabdha means Prarabdha. It has been begun. It has been begun. Therefore, Brahma Vidya has begun, is begun. Tataha Nishreyasam Bhavet. As a result of that, Tataha, as a result of Brahma Vidya, Nishreyasam means Moksham Bhavet. Moksham means freedom from the entire samsara. Nishreyasam, Nitaram Shreyas. It is eternal peace, eternal serenity will supervene you as a result of Brahma Vidya. Between Brahma Vidya and Shanti, there is no time gap also. And that will come in time. It will come later on. But there is no time gap. But there is no, between the karma and phalam, there is a time gap, all right. Between Vidya and the moksha, there is no time gap. This is in the law of karma. Today you do karma, and the phalam may come after many lives. And therefore, it may happen many lives. Somebody may give you a curse. It may have its result after many lives. And therefore, you have to be very careful to see that nobody curses you. And everybody blesses you only. And when somebody blesses you, the result may not be felt immediately. There is always a time gap between somebody's blessing of you, that is a karma. Somebody blesses you, may God bless you, that is a karma. Any blessing is a karma. And between the karma and the phalam, there is always a time gap. And therefore, today somebody may bless you, and you may feel blessed after many lives. Similarly, what you do is drishtam, and what it creates is adrishtam. And adrishtam always comes back to in the form of drishtam. And that is called the phalam. The result is drishtam. And therefore, that is why in the South it is always said, if somebody gets a lot of money, we say that is his adrishtam. Adrishtam means that is his adrishtam means that is his punya karma phalam. It is janmantara krita punya phalam. That punya is the reason for his getting money or any whatever it is. Something good happens, and they say it is the punya karma adrishtam iti. Atah arabdha. Tatah nishreyasam bhavet. Between the vidya and the moksha, there is no time gap. But between the law of karma is involves always there is a time. That is what is called causation. In causation, there is always a time involved. In causation, if you put the milk for curd, there is a causation. For curd, it is causation. The milk transforms to become curd. That is causation. And it takes its own time. It doesn't become immediately become curd. It takes its own time. The kala is an ingredient. Desha is an ingredient also. And therefore, what you do and where you perform and what you perform, what you give, where to give, whom to give, it all matters. And therefore, and that is given to whom to give danam, जो दान देते हैं, किसको पात्र को देते हैं, अपात्र को देते हैं, that's all taken into account. And but then that gives you punya or papa, whatever it is, in time. In time means maybe in this life or maybe in next life. And therefore, that is the truth, please. Every karma need not create result in this life. Karma can create result in the next life also, after many lives also. There is always a time gap between karma and phalam. But truth is not it is not captured within the causation. It is not present within the realm of causation. It is neither the cause of something nor it is the effect of something. It is free from, it is ajaha. It is ajaha means it is free from causation, please. Therefore, this must be understood correctly. It is free from causation. Vidyaiva ajnana hanaya na karma apratikulataha. Vidyaiva, right knowledge alone can correct the wrong knowledge. Vidyaiva avidya hanaya, ajnana hanaya. Vidya only can remove the avidya. Vidyaiva ajnana hanaya, na karma. Karma cannot create, karma cannot avoid the ajnana, cannot correct the avidya. Why apratikulataha? Karma is the result of ajnanam. Karma is not opposed to ajnanam. Apratikulataha means it's not opposed. It's not corrective. It's not corrective of ajnana. It's not a corrective of your view that I am karta. Whatever you do is the result of your feeling, your view. And therefore, the view that I am deha, the view that I am karta, the view that I am bhokta, as a result of these views is the karma. And therefore, the karma is the result of the view. And the result of the view cannot correct the view. And therefore, vidya only corrects the view because there is pratikulata between vidya and ajnanam, avidya. Na ajnanasya prahane, aprahane, and without removing the ajnanam, he ragadvesha kshayo bhavet, na ragadvesha kshayo bhavet. You may say, I can control my ragadvesha, and that is good enough. If I control my ragadvesha, then I am literate, then I am peaceful. But that's also not the answer. You may be peaceful for some time. Ragadveshas can never be negated. They can be controlled, but they can never be rooted out. They cannot be disproved, and therefore, without correcting the misconception, without Brahma Vidya, even likes and dislikes cannot be negated. उसका क्षय नहीं होगा. रागद्वेष क्षयो भवेत्. रागद्वेष क्षयो भवेत्. Without correcting the misconception, even ragadveshas cannot be negated. Cannot be destroyed. Ragadveshas can be controlled. Impulses can be controlled. Impulses cannot be rooted out. Impulses cannot be disproved. Disproval is only through correction of avidya, misconception. Ragadvesha kshaya bhave, when ragadvesha are not negated, ragadvesha kshaya bhave, when ragadveshas are not negated, karma doshodbhavam dhruvam, then the karma is choiceless. When the ragadveshas are there, karma is inevitable. And when the karma is inevitable, karma phalam also is inevitable. When karma phalam is inevitable, re-embodiment is also inevitable. That is said here, tasmat nishreyasarthaya, and therefore in order to be free from all the embodiments, in order to be free from the samsara, nishreyasarthaya, moksharthaya, vidyaiva atra vidhiyate. Vidya alone is vidhiyate. Vidhiyate means is enjoyed, is mandated. It is as though mandated. It is not an action mandated. It is vidya. It is a mandation of mandate. It is mandating vidya. It is not a vidhi of kriya. It is not kriya vidhi. It is vidya vidhi. Vidya vidhi is as though it has the look of vidhi, but it is not a vidhi. It's not an action. It's not a kriya to be done. And therefore vidya is vidhiyate. Vidya is mandated. Atma vare drashtavyaha. That's why tavya pratyaya is used. Atma has to be known. You have to understand yourself in order to be peaceful, in order to be happy. You want to be happy. Everybody, Amara Guruji used to say this very beautifully. Everybody is a mumukshu. Every jiva is a mumukshu, but every jiva is not a jignasu. It's a very beautiful thing. Everyone is a mumukshu. Everybody wants to be peaceful. Everybody wants to be happy. Everybody wants to be full and complete. But everybody doesn't understand that this is possible only by self-knowledge. Everybody is not a jignasu. And therefore you have to be a jignasu to understand the Shastram. Tasmat, therefore, Nishreyasarthaya, Moksharthaya, Vidya alone, Atra here in this context, Vidhiyate. In Sansara, Atra in Sansara, only Vidya is mandated. Atmavare Drashtavyaha, Shrotavyaha, Mantavyaha, Nirudyastha. Atma has to be understood. Vidya, it is a Vidhi Chaya. Bhagavan Shankaracharya says Vidhi Chaya means it as though looks like a Vidhi, but it's not a Vidhi. It's not a Kriya. Knowing it looks as though it's a verb, but it's not a verb. It's not a verb of action. It is knowing what is there. You create, that is a Kriya. You reach, that is a Kriya. You modify, that is a Kriya. You purify, that is a Kriya. None of these four things is there in knowing what is. Swarupa Nirdharanam me. There is no creation, there is no change, there is no creation, there is no reaching, there is no purification, there is no modification. And therefore you only register as you are. What is the Swarupani? What is my nature? That is all that is the topic here in Brahma Vidya. And therefore, Tasmat Nishreyasarthaya, for in order to get the moksha, Vidyavatra Vidhiyate. Vidya alone here is mandated. Without Vidya, the karma cannot be. By doing karma, even if you are a rich person, you can only do the karma. You are only doing karma. You only become bhokta. Your view that you are a karta and bhokta, your view that you are the body, that cannot go away. And even if you die, then you will come back again in another form. And therefore, riches are not the answer. That you are in an advantageous position is not the answer. That you are a rich man is not the answer. That you are comfortable is not the answer. That you are very healthy is not the answer. That you are peaceful also is not the answer. That is only a relative peace. And relative peace means relative pain also will be there. And therefore, that's not the answer. And therefore, the answer is only recognizing what is your nature. Your nature is something that is unnegatable. Your nature is something that is solely consciousness. Your nature is, by nature, you are the one with which the whole universe is non-separate. Like all the waves are non-separate from water. In the same manner, all objects are non-separate from consciousness. Matter is non-separate from consciousness. And that consciousness that you are. And therefore, that consciousness, which is present as the truth of everything, is called Parameshwara. And as the source of everything, it is called Parameshwara. But then that sourceness, that description that it is the source, that is also not true. And it is also gone. And therefore, in Apavada Drishti, Swarupa Drishti, you say, he is not the Karanam also. He is not the Karanam of the Jagat, like Rajju is not the Karanam of the Sarpa. Rajju is a fact, is the Vastu. Vastu is different from Karanam. It is a fact. Rajju is a fact. And Sarpa is an error, please. There is only truth and error relationship. And the truth and error relationship means no relationship, it is oneness. The error is non-separate from the truth. And therefore, the entire Jagat is non-separate from you, the truth, the consciousness. And therefore, you have to understand that the consciousness is yourself. If consciousness is the truth, then you are the truth. And therefore, you should be your topic, please. And it's not your body should be your topic, your thought should be topic, getting information is the topic, your existence is the topic. Your existence is the topic, your existence absolute is the topic. And that's why you are Sat Chit Ananda. Your consciousness is your existence is the topic. Your being consciousness is the topic. Your being Anandam, your being serenity is the topic. Sachidananda. Ahamasmi sadabhami kadachin naham apriya, it is said. Lakshmidhar Kavi, 11th century, he says, Atma is always there. Aham asmi, sada bhami, I am ever conscious. Kadachin naham apriyaha, and I never dislike myself, and therefore Sachidananda Lakshanam. Brahmaivaham atasiddham, and therefore it is clear that I am Brahman, which is of the nature of Satchit, Sat, Chit, and Ananda. So Sat means I am, Ahamasmi. Chit means Sada Bhami. Anandam means Kadachitavi na Aham Priyaha. Aham Priyaha. I don't dislike myself. I like myself. That is because by nature it is Anandam. And therefore that is why there is a liking. You cannot like a thing which is not pleasant. You may not like the unpleasant things, but you can't dislike the pleasant thing. If you like the pleasant thing, then if you like yourself, then it is always pleasant. It is Anandam. It's not understood as Anandam, but it is Anandam. And the more of it we will see in the next class. Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnas Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you very much, Ji. I am becoming all right. Please don't unnecessarily worry.